Damn, we switch forward.
Yes, sir.
Your favorite rugby podcast is back. We're back for another week, rugby filled week, definitely rugby filled week. Haven't watched this amount of games in a very long time. Lots of talking points, lots of writing down nonsense, lots of opinions.
Certainly.
And it started on Wednesday with your boys.
Yeah. Oh man, jeez. My boys are not disciplined enough. That's the problem. You can't score 4 tries and still lose the game. You know, you got to look at it.
Western Province were playing test match rugby.
Yeah, that's what they were doing, you know, because they know they don't have anything else in their artillery, you know. So that man again, Tim Steele, you know, he's proving to be a very important player for Western Province in terms of the 3-pointers, you know. And he's the one that's basically he's been keeping them alive, you know. If Province are in ICU, he's the doctor, you know. So
I fully agree. I fully agree. I give him props for what he's done, but there's nothing more infuriating than people saying that he should be called up to the box squad.
No ways. For what? I'm sorry, but for what? No, we good. No, we good. We covered, man. We covered. You know, I understand. Yes, he's done well for proper. No, that's a hard no.
I mean, we did trash Western Province on this podcast last week, so there is a bit of humble pie, a bit of humble sassel pie. But I mean, we saw what is going on. We saw what is going on. They reverted to test match rugby. If we dive deeper, initially Kwesi Mona under pressure in the scrums. From then we saw taking penalties. Sharks from what they were the more entertaining team. They were the way more entertaining team. And we saw even from early, Takia Abrams was pulling Sinatla. There was that time where Sharks messed up. They sort of fumbled their own set piece. I think it was a line out. They fumbled it, and then they put pressure on Western Province, and Takia Abrams pulling Sinatla from early.
Yeah, look, he really was. But you know, one thing when you're talking about Sharks messing up their set piece, I think the theme for me on the night for the Sharks that comes to mind is really sloppy. You know, because even the try that David scored, that was sloppy play. You know, that pass didn't need to go, just needed to hold on to the ball. But then, you know, take nothing away from the young man, Currie Abrams, you know, showing his full value. You know, he was all over Sinatla
from early,
you know?
And that's the impressive thing for me is that there's guys that take a while to build into a game. There's guys that take. I mean, we've seen him from the beginning when it was unlocked challenges, and we saw he's a danger man. But we didn't know he was this much of a danger man. And my thing for him is, I wonder what position he played in high school. I don't know if he
played wing. He played wing.
He's pure winger.
Yeah, he's a pure winger. He was, I think, he was at Paul Boys.
Yeah,
High.
I know he went to Boys High, but I didn't know if he was a pure winger.
Play wing, fullback. He's good. He's good. I like him. And again, he punished Province. I think we spoke about it last week about that aimless kicking with no chasing lines, and I think we saw that in a number of situations this past weekend. A lot of aimless kicking, you know, in a couple of the games. But
and I mean, sorry to cut you, but you talked about David's try, how it was sort of from Sharks trying to clean up. Takia Abrams' try was from, again, Sharks trying to clean up, but this time it went the other way.
Yeah, you know, and that's exactly it. You know, like I said, sloppy play from the Sharks. You know, it's entertaining, but at the end of the day, you got to get the win. You know, there's a few guys, like I felt, for example, like Kwesi Mona, I think they grew into the game very nicely, and they brought the physical edge.
I think
to it.
This is I think this was the best game I've seen Mbata play.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him. He was really in there, and he's fronting up physically, and you can see why he's rated at the Sharks.
Definitely. And there's one thing about him is the way that he controls the ball from the back of the maul. Mm-hmm. It's very, very, very impressive. There's guys that sort of mess it up at the back. There's guys that drop it at the back. You saw him giving short pass to Timberlani Boli for his try, and then eventually he got over for his own from a pick and drive. I think he had the best game that I've seen him play. Boli, he gave his physicality as always. He's as advertised. You know what you're getting.
I was about to say, this man, I feel like he's just hit another gear. I feel like he's settled. He's settled at the Sharks. And now he's finally showing his value week in, week out. I mean, he's strong carries. He's very difficult to bring down. First up, he works hard in the contact situation, to gain those extra meters. That's something that not all players have and not all loose forwards have, and it's very impressive. I was just
built from steel.
Geez, that man, the Sharks better hold on to him and better give him more games, but at the end of the day, it's still just so disappointing because Sharks had all the play, but they ill discipline, they sloppiness, they kept Western Province in the game. The only real the players that stood out for me from Western Province, if we're looking at it, Ernst van Rijn, he's the captain. He's always going to work hard, do the dirty work, but then they put pressure. There's pressure situations in the line out, and we saw Fez wasn't all comfortable, but he managed it. But it got worse when Dan Juster came on. I wasn't impressed with him, from the Sharks when he came on because he also gave away a couple of penalties.
Yeah, even for me, Fez his line out throwing, he had a very difficult one. He had a very, very difficult one, and he nailed the jumper. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it led to some kind of points.
Yeah, and when you look at it across the board, there's more of the Sharks players that really stood out, in this game because they had all the play more than a Western Province. Paul de Vet, he was just pure luck, right place, right time, but he's been putting in
I wouldn't say so. That's sort of his. That's his style. He's that kind of guy. The commentator kept calling him a live wire. That's his thing. It's his thing.
But I feel like he's also, think about it from when he first came on the scene for Western Province Stormers. He wasn't as live wire. He was just that guy who you just thought, okay, who is this guy? But I feel like now he's been showing his worth. Another one that I was impressed with from Western Province, even Russ, the number 8.
Yeah.
He carried my boy, man, Jaden Hendricks. He carried him. He carried him. Man, I've never seen a man carry another man that long over the try line. He just didn't know what to do with him, man. He was there, but it's too much power. He was impressive, even Russ, and I think he has been for Western Province.
It was a signature. It's a signature run. He had breaking the line in a few games before this. I had, from early, I had Jaden Hendricks. I was writing down things. I was saying he's very good. His calmness, being irritating, his tackling. After I saw that, I had to scratch out tackling. I was like, no.
Yeah, because he should have brought him down. He should have gone at least, because he started high. He should have slid down, got the legs, but, too big, too powerful, too much momentum. It was too much for him to handle. But then another one for me that I think as well, he doesn't get enough credit. Ricus Pretorius, I think he's been the most consistent out of everybody in that team. And we're talking about a team where some guys are playing, some guys get dropped, some guys switching positions, he's been the most consistent guy throughout. He's not flashy, but he will punish you. I think, you think to the Lions where he broke blind with De Vet. It's like, he's that guy. Yeah.
Even in other games with the Lions, I remember it because he was the one that was punishing us in the wider channels. And it's just like he is their most consistent player.
Yeah, he is. He's silently building up the XP for himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if not too long, you can have an overseas team looking to offer him, some dollars there, because he's good. Other than that, when you look at this Western Province team and this weekend, there's nothing really that they did.
There's nothing. There's nothing. It's just penalty again, points, penalty again, points, penalty again, points. Not much talking points from them.
Yeah, which is what I found frustrating. I think the frustration.
You would have thought Jake White was coaching them.
Yeah, the way they were going for points, but considering it's a Currie Cup game, but understandably for them, maybe they understand the position that they find themselves in.
Yes.
And really, it's a matter of, look, whatever points we can get, let's just take them. And as they've been doing, they've just been staying in the fight in the games. And look, it's been working for them, but I think, let's be honest, at some point, it's either going to go one of two ways. It's either they're going to just hit an upsurge or they will go down a slippery slope very quickly. Yeah, that's the way that I see it for Western Province. The only thing we saw was Errol van der Merwe. He had that one, sort of, he got close. That was like another individual moment, but as you say, nothing really. There's nothing really, and then like the Sharks were just frustrating. And I think you saw that with Marius Lowe. He was super frustrated in that game, and
yes, those penalties in that too short period.
And there's just other moments, in terms of handling errors like that. I feel like that's what cost the Sharks at the end of the day, because they had no right to lose that game. They really didn't. They threw it away, but perhaps it's part of the look. I don't want to make excuses for them, but at the end of the day, it's just, for me, it's just not good enough. You can't find yourself scoring 4 tries and be let down by your discipline, which I think maybe is something that they've had a look at, for tomorrow's big game, against the British and Irish Lions. But when you look at it, as a team, though,
I'm much more optimistic. I thought it was an entertaining performance, which I don't think I've typically seen from the Sharks. I'm not someone that's gonna sit down and watch a Sharks game unless I really have to. So for me, it was enjoyable.
Tell you what, do you know what I was also happy to see? Is Currie Bosch taking the ball to the line. And you saw when he took the ball to the line, he actually he made a line break. He got through. He created something. He's putting questions in the defenders' minds, and I feel like he has to make that shift. If he has aspirations of playing at the highest level, he has to make that shift. And defensively as well, as impressed with him, because he stood up defensively. He wasn't shirking that responsibility. So you have to give credit. We've been on his case.
Yes. Yes, I'll give credit where credit is due, but he had Lubbock holding his hand. They were, they had interchange. Yes. They were interchanging. I think that's one of the things about having Lubbock at 15. I don't like him at 15 because I feel like he's a bit wasted. But when he comes into the line, and then they were interchanging between Bosch and him, taking it first receiver, and then they were playing basically 10 and 12 together, which I think is interesting because you've got Lowe and Ward, who normally fight for a jersey, playing next to each other. So I think the linking of Bosch at 10 and then Lubbock at 12, maybe they facilitated that because they knew that we've got a couple of guys here that maybe distribution isn't their strong point. Maybe they sort of have the same skill set. So let's use these two guys to sort of get the attack going.
Yeah, and I like that analysis of it. I think you may be spot on there, because if you look at it, the face of it, Jeremy Ward isn't really necessarily the best distributor of the ball. Nor is Marius Lowe. But what you will get from them is, they will run hard at the challenge the line. They will give you strong carries, good defense. But other than that, there's no real sort of creativity. Maybe Jeremy Ward is the more inclined creative center out of the two, but again, speaking about Lubbock and Bosch interchanging, I think for them, that's a formula for them going forward, but at the same time, I've said this before, is that we need to see, in my view, is Manie Libbok getting an opportunity to run things from 10 for an extended period. You know, I understand, yes, Kern Bosch is the first choice. You know, the coach went on already last season when he went on and said, look, this is my number 10, I'm sticking with him. But Manie Libbok finds himself in the same situation that he left at the Bulls. Yeah. And it's really, I think, yeah, there's got to be a push from his side as well, you know, to take that 10 jersey away. You know, and the only way that he's going to do that is performance, you know, and an opportunity, hopefully, that he gets, you know. But other than that, geez, like you say, you're more optimistic about the Sharks. I understand where you're coming from. For me, it's nice. You can play beautiful rugby, but if you don't win, you know,
the moral victory.
Yeah, it raises that's the question, you know, say, okay, what's missing here? And luckily for them, I think it's things that they can fix. You know, I really think it's things that they can fix. Gumete was impressive as well for me. You know, it's just maybe you can see his inexperience, a bit loose in the carries, but, you know, full of energy. I think he's a good one for the future, you know, one to look out for. You know,
Van Heerden as well. I think Van Heerden had a good game.
Yeah, look, he did. He really did at lock. Aaron Andrews, I think I was laughing because there's a commentator that calls him Ice Andrews, you know. And look, man, if they're calling him Ice Andrews, I think that's probably the right description of his play. You know, it's very cold. You know, there's nothing hot about that. You know, you know, it's just. It just doesn't, for me, he's not where he looked like he was going to be at a stage, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He just hasn't reached that level yet, or again, you know, which is rather frustrating, but we'll give him a chance, you know, we'll give him a chance. But all in all, the Sharks are a good side for me, but just disappointing.
Moving on from Wednesday, we had a derby game, the derby game of the real derby. We don't want to talk about Transvaal derbies and what derbies and what started derbies. This is the real derby game.
This is
Pumas at home versus the Griquas. Changes, Smuts was in there and Valentine was in there. Exchanges for Landsberg and September. I saw Landsberg on the starting lineup, so I'm not sure if that was injury enforced.
Yeah.
Happy with the result. I was backing the Pumas. Only unfortunate thing for me, it maybe the entertainment value didn't live up to what we thought it was going to be. But at the same time, you've got to look at it as those guys want the win because they could potentially go top of the log at that time.
Yeah. I fully agree. You know, I was glad at the Pumas, you know, the way that they played. I think they went in there with the right game plan because
yes, I can't fault that.
Because, you know, they could have easily taken this game for granted and thought they could run it from everywhere. But you cannot discount the danger of the Griquas. I mean, we spoke about
we saw at halftime what the score was.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we know the type of players that the Griquas have, you know, and credit to the Pumas, they kept Edwin Keita quiet, you know, but there were times when he did get the ball and you thought, look, danger is coming here, but they did well to scramble, keep him out of the game. But all in all, you know, if we're talking about the Pumas first, for me, that whole team, you know, that was everybody put in a performance, you know, from you look at Willie Engelbrecht, I think his experience with the Stormers, you know, has sort of done him good. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him back there at the Stormers or see him at another union or franchise, because I feel like he's got that X factor. Makundwana as well, I felt like he had a good game, brought his physicality. Francois Kleinhans, as usual, nuisance on the ground. You know, I think he showed his full value, you know. And then again, Westrad, I think he had a bit difficult time with his lineouts, but the quality of the man. He came through. I know he's your guy, and I put a keen eye on him. I was like, no, let me actually watch this guy, and I was happy. I loved what I saw.
That man, he doesn't have to pay for a beer anytime he's in town.
Yeah.
and I'm talking about here in Ireland, and I'm talking about even there where he stays. I'm sure everybody buys him all the beers when they see him around.
Yeah, exactly. Because, geez, man, he's a tough man. Plays well. He's a very good hooker. And I think it's slightly underrated. And I could see, a couple of the other unions maybe needing to have a look at him and to bolster their hooking
especially like for me, you look at the Lions game, Sigma Lions versus British Nationals, and you look at PJ Porter playing there, and it's like, fine, okay, you're developing youth, but if the goal is to win today, who are you choosing?
Yeah,
we're not talking about winning in 10 years when the guy's 45. We're talking about winning today. And him, even at his age, he's the better hooker. So I mean, when you talk about other unions wanting guys, I sometimes wish that they thought in that way.
Because I think you can't discount the value of experience, and I think we've seen it in other teams in different seasons as well, where there's been the experienced guys that have, sort of helped to guide the youngsters coming through, But look, all in all, is Verstraete he's the real deal for sure. But tell you what, like I said, that whole team of the Pumas, the kicking game. It started
slowly for both sides. I think it was a bit of a slow burner. Then they, first opportunity in the 22 for the Pumas. I was disappointed. Banda, very weak defense. Matt Moore going over, but as you were talking about, like guys playing their part, the forwards got their goal forward, and that I think it was Ich Prinsloo. Then Engelbrecht, he also had hands in that play, and it's that thing of everyone doing their job.
Yeah, that's exactly it, And just talking about Banda, you mentioned him. I was a bit disappointed with his play, and I had questions, thinking, is fullback his best position? I don't think it is, and the reason why I say that is, if you saw how many balls that he fielded, and I think the first one that he went, he turned it over. He turned over a lot of ball when he was running it back, and there was also a lot of nothing kicks. He just didn't really have that impact as a fullback. And like you say, defensively, as your last line of defense, is that the right guy for the job at fullback? I don't think so. And nothing against him. It's just, for me, when games are tight, he's not your premier fullback that you want to pick in tight games or in contests where it's going to be dominated by the brute. He's more, for me, when the game opens up, maybe he's better suited there. But yeah, it just felt so difficult to watch him as an individual player. I felt bad for him because nothing was going his way. But then you talk about Matt Moore. Oh my goodness, the hits that he was putting in. He was a strong performance. It was a really strong performance. So
yeah, I mean, if you can also talk Griquas now, especially in the first half, they found I think they found it very difficult to get going. They were really we know how difficult it is for away teams coming to that stadium, but they really were playing like an away team. They couldn't get things going. Penalties were keeping them in the game. And after that, you've got the Pumas team where they didn't get front football from a set piece. We know how dangerous they are from the set piece. I think we saw the coach in the last game saying, all we need is set piece in their half. That's all we need. So I think they got set piece. They didn't get goal forward, but they still tried to execute the plan of going wide. And JC Nell, who has been impressive, he got over for that intercept, putting them in the lead at halftime, surprisingly.
Yeah, exactly. And credit to the Griquas, because they were just hanging in there, especially in that first half. It kind of felt like, they were feeling each other out, just jab here, jab there, jab, and then, mistake punished, which at the end of the day as well, I think it's good to see that our sort of smaller teams or unions, they're able to play that tactical sort of game with the goal in mind, because I think the Pumas' goal was really simple. It's just they needed to get the win to try and go top of the log, and really, for the extended period going forward, is to keep themselves in contention to possibly make the semis for the Currie Cup, and you can't really fault them.
Yeah, all I'll say about the second half is really it came for the right time for the Pumas. They sort of regrouped and then they kicked on again. It seems like they, the first quarters of the first half and the first of the second half, that's where they really made their money.
Yeah, true. I was just disappointed that at the end they didn't go for
they didn't go for it.
For the bonus point, because it was there for the taking. But I can understand when your team like the Pumas, you want to take your points and run away, and just.
It was mission accomplished at that point. I suppose they, in their mind, didn't want to overstep their mark.
Yeah, true. And I think the respect that they have for the opposition, knowing that easily, if they had gone for that, the Griquas could have punished them and taken the game, and they would be speaking about a different story right now, But look, Griquas are still they're still growing. I'm just happy with the progression of the Pumas. I think the more wins under the belt, good for their confidence, and the other teams, they better watch out. They really do.
They do. Let's talk about another team in sort of a brief news segment, a sad news segment. We've got Lionel Mapu and Ruan Combrink at the Bulls Rugby Union. I could take Harry Foster. I could take it. It hurts. But Ruan Combrink, this one really hurts. And
then they topped it off.
Yes, they topped it off. They topped it off straight after that with Lionel Mapu. Lions, please, guys, what's going on? That's all I have to say. Like, I don't know if you saw this. About 3 Lions players signed for the same English team this week, and I don't know what's going on there.
It's difficult to put your finger on it, on what's going on. But obviously, look, we must also be, I think, conscious of the fact that the pound is stronger than the rand, and when guys look at it, they're probably thinking, look, maybe I can go over there, get a couple of pounds, and then, find my way back.
This looks like the Lions are just releasing guys to balance books and develop youth, which I'm not that keen on. And
maybe it's the timing issue, of that. Maybe, but look, you can't. The Bulls, I think the Bulls have identified what they need, because if you look at the guys, okay, Harold Forster, he was at one stage, close to making the Springbok squad, but then you've got Mapu, he's a Bok, and you've got Combrick, he's a Bok, and we know what. And then you have Hussein. So you understand what Jake White's trying to do. He's trying to get, the cream of the crop of players, that have performed at the international stage, and get them to come and replicate that at the Bulls, which can only bode well for them, and but at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, look, I don't think that's where his problems are. I think more of his problems are in the front row. More than anything. And, you ask yourself, how many backline players are you going to recruit, So, look, that's still to be seen. But good on them. Shame for the Lions that they missed. I think they missed a trick there. At least get Combrink back, because Combrink can take Ivia Falloon's place back at fullback. Because no, your fullback. Man, I'm sorry.
No, we're still to be discussed. Still to be discussed.
We'll talk.
Yeah, Currie Cup. Only thing that really stands out is Pepsi's back. Not Currie Cup, but next fixture, which is the Lions. Only thing that stands out is Pepsi back. No other real local news besides the heartbreak of Ruan Combrink.
Yeah, that's a sad one. A sad one for the Lions supporters, but not good for the Bulls. And it's good to see Ruan Combrink back. We know what he's done for the Springboks in that dark period. in a very dark period, he was there, and you don't understand.
He bailed them out.
Yeah, a lot of times, so hopefully he finds his way back into that mix, because I still believe he's got the qualities, But we'll see tomorrow at the Sharks how that goes against the British and Irish Lions. Look, I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. I'll be happy. We just want to see a better performance. I think that's what we want to see is a performance that we can at least be proud of, and a credible performance, because it's the British and Irish Lions. But that doesn't mean they're not for the taking, because you can still win.
Yeah, let's move on to the Bok game. 20 months. We waited 20 months for a knock-on and a collapse scrum.
To see a game of Kopo Stamp, because that's what it was. It was just Kopo Stamp.
I mean, and entertainment value, this one, the thing was, if we look at it on a whole, the yellow card took something away from the game. That yellow card took something away from the game, and then the Boks just had too many quality guys to bring off the bench. So I mean, I found myself watching this game. Obviously, we're for the Boks, but you even watching this game and you're wanting Georgia to do well, because at least there were moments. There were moments. They were very physical. They showed they had some ballers. They took the lead early. It wasn't all doom and gloom for them.
It really wasn't. If I'm Georgia, I'm the Georgian coach, even the Georgian team, you're not disappointed, because now you've seen that, okay, listen, you can actually compete against these guys. You can push yourself. And it's a matter of, look, all things need to fall in the right place for them, and everything needs to go wrong for a Springbok team in order for them to get the win, which is not impossible. We've seen stranger things in the world. I mean, as Springbok fans, we know we know we've lost to Italy before. We've but I don't see that happening with this group. But I think with this game, yes, you would have loved to see the entertainment value and factor in there. But I think with this team having not played together for so long, this was really a needed exercise to get some physicality going against other opposition, and the Georgians, credit to them, they brought that physicality. They brought the test at scrum time. They did, they brought the test. It wasn't so cut and dry. At one stage, you were sitting there with just thinking that, hey, hey, this could be not good.
Yeah, Boks falling short on the discipline side, giving away quite a few penalties. For me as well, the attack wasn't dynamic enough in that first half. It really, they couldn't get going. I think a game plan that they're employing is, I mean, we saw it in Fasi's try, is that they're putting Peter Steff in the trams there. I think we saw him have a few runs there. British and Irish Lions, I think last tour they put Falatau sort of in that area to try and get meters, and it looks like the Boks are putting Peter Steff in that same position, and he put Fasi away for his debut try.
Yeah, that was a well taken try, and look, Peter Steff, I think Peter Steff is just immense. He's big. He's big for us. That he needs to stay fit and healthy. Because I feel like he's the big difference in our pack. Yeah. At the moment, he's really the big difference. I'd say
Kolisi as well. He got around. I think Kolisi was more in the trenches. Than the glamour positions out wide next to the wing, putting away passes. Yeah. I mean, he hit the rucks hard.
Yeah, he really was. But I think he needed to be there from leading from the front, as it were. Putting in, the physicality, attending the rucks, making sure we're securing our ball to allow guys like Peter Steff to roam out wide. Because, and I think in a way, it's a matter of them not wanting to compromise Peter Steff too much, because we do know he sometimes has his issues with injuries, strange injuries that you wouldn't want to see ahead of a big series like this. But again, You spoke about how Peter Steph put Fassi away. I felt Fassi that, good touches. He showed. Yeah. I feel he showed that he belongs.
He showed that this is his level.
Yeah, he really did. I was happy to see even Speckman as well. Look, his work rate, you can't question that. He was just all over the place chasing.
He was just a bit unfortunate. It sort of didn't get up to him.
Yeah, he almost got in for a try, but we saw it was a lot of questions that he was asking of the defense. So he's a threat as well out wide. And look, I just need to say this humbly. I humbly need to let you know that I agree about number 13, Jesse Currie. We gave him a last chance for the last time, and I agree.
You know what my thing is? Like, you get people saying sort of, what did he do wrong? But the thing for me is, what did he do right? And I mean, I'm not being facetious or anything, but it's like, at this level, Similani would have eaten this game up.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, you can say, fine, he got the ball wide, but what are we? This is the box. You're supposed to get the ball wide. You're supposed to draw and pass. You're supposed to. So are we going to applaud that? Are we? I mean, you think of box centers in the past, and is he didn't do anything wrong? Is that the sort of the level that you want? I mean, look at Lucanio Arm, the things that he does.
Yeah,
it's certainly more than this.
Yeah, it is. And look, honestly, I was watching him specifically because I was advocating for him to get his last chance. And especially against, take nothing away from Georgia, but against a team like Georgia, you wanted to see a bit more from him. But even the setup, look, maybe there wasn't a particular sort of exact game plan for not wanting to give too much away.
That's another point that I know the British and Irish Lions do that. The way that we saw them play is not the way that they're going to play against the Boks. But I feel like the Boks are playing more closely to what they're going to play at the test match level. Well, sort of at the British and Irish match.
Yeah, so yeah, man. Look, all in all, for me, I can't really. I don't want to lambaste the performance or the product, the end product too much as of yet, because it's a build-up. It's a build-up, and it's only one more test match again, sort of warm-up against Georgia before, it's getting into the real deal. So you'd hope that they quickly, get their house in order, so that when that first test match kicks off, that we can really, put these guys away, first up. So
shining light though was Willems's appearance. He had the best performance I've seen him have for a very long time. Even years.
Yeah,
he does. It doesn't look like the same player that was playing for Province.
Yeah, so you can see. I think you can see his confidence. It's definitely, he's gotten his confidence.
Change of environment.
You know what I mean? We're talking about the Province environment, and now look what happens. You take the man out of the environment, put him in a different one. Hey, all of a sudden, this guy, you thinking to yourself, no, he's a world champion. He's good enough. The only one that I was really not impressed with is Willie Leroux. I think you can see even like his hair, is getting gray. So, his play is also getting gray.
Still running sideways.
Yeah, he's still running sideways, and it's just like, it just doesn't look like he's got that pace anymore, that explosiveness in that half gap.
And I want to defend Elton Yanchis here. I want to defend Elton Yanchis because Willie Leroux was the one complaining the most when the ball didn't go wide, and I felt, who are you to be making those sort of claims? The man that kills space and doesn't make the passes out wide.
Yeah, true. Look, I don't know. I'm not feeling comfortable right now with him. Yes, I understand his experience.
He'll do enough. Like at the World Cup, he did enough.
Yeah, he did, but it's just for me. I'm not feeling too secure about him right now based on that. I know it's not a game to measure off, but there's the immeasurables that you're looking at, and that you're just looking at. Okay, it didn't look sharp. Look, admittedly, none of them really looked sharp.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I don't want to lambaste this game too much. I think there's still a lot to be seen, but you'd hope that they can get their house in order quickly.
Yeah. Good performances for me. Yeah.
Sorry, I think you're probably going to talk about Kwagga Smith, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say good performances for me. Definitely Willemse. I think Ori as well.
Yes.
He was calm and composed. Malherbe, when he came on, he showed up the scrum. Kwagga as well. He did his thing. We know what we're going to get.
Yeah, look, it's not all bad. You can't give guys like, I think average rating for the whole team is around 6 out of 10. For this one, because they weren't at the optimum. Let's not lie. And there's nobody that was like shooting out the lights. So I agree with you about Malherbe, Willemse, and Kwagga, Ori as well. I was happy with Ori, the way just the composure and the lineouts. He showed his experience and why he's one of the guys that can. Because look, at the end of the day, if we have issues with injuries and things like that, he's going to be the next guy, that has to come in. But I think Jasper Wiese had a little bit of a quiet debut.
Had some
they handled him. Yeah, had some carries, but I think the Georgians handled him physically. But he'll grow from there. Then we'll see. Because right now, I think it's a straight shoot for the number 8 position with him and Kwagga. That's what it's looking like. But we'll see.
Moving on to opposition on this tour. We've got Inspiration Irish Lions visiting the Sigma Lions. In somewhat of a disappointment, especially from my side. You want to see, you saw what the Blues did.
Yes.
And obviously, it might not land up in a victory, but it was a fight. It was a fight, and it ended up glorious for them. You sort of want a fight. And Gatlin came out this week and said, hopefully we do get a fight in these games, which is a bit of an insult. And I think we saw early on lots of nerves from the players. You could see that this was a higher step up from what we've been seeing in Currie Cup level. And it looked like Chituka was he looked like he was the only man up for it.
Yeah, look, the man of the house, he's at home and he was showing, although I think for one of the tries, I wasn't impressed with, I think it was just his
they caught him on the line-out.
Awareness. They caught him out, and then where he just didn't set himself, and you felt maybe if he had set himself, his body position would have most likely delayed that try, or it would have delayed that try because you don't know what would have happened afterwards. But you're right, Chituka, he stood up for me. I think in stages, some of the guys they tried to
kicked on Sangweni. Sangweni had his moments.
Yes, they had their moments, but I think at the end of the day, when I was watching that game, the only thing that really for me that stood out was defense, because whenever the Sigma Lions were fronting up defensively, they managed to either slow the ball down or get turnover, get that penalty to relieve the pressure. And I think that's what killed them, from making that game a fight is defense and also discipline. But it shows that gap, that 5% difference in terms of the intensity of a test side against a franchise or a union that had only 2 real internationals on there, that have played. I think it was Jumbo Lengo Rondrea that have played for the Boks. So it's really, I just felt defense really is what killed Lions. The
Defense,
Lions,
and it doesn't.
They honestly made the British and Irish Lions look better than what they actually were, in my opinion, because there's nothing special that those guys did.
There was a lot of the occasion getting to a lot of people, and I think the occasion got to the ref as well. I think he was very lenient with the British and Irish lines. They were slowing the ball down. They were offsides a lot of the time.
Not rolling away. You can see like it's a tactic. It looks like the once the tackler makes when he makes a tackle, he just takes that extra second or two to roll away, and that gives a guy the stealer time to get on the ball. This is from what I saw, one of the tactics, and it happens at different parts of the field, and it's always a different kind of tactic, where the one guy maybe won't roll away, and the others will just, they'll on the ground, they'll be holding on to the tackle player and the ball, So I think something that obviously the box side will be looking at, looking to nullify that, because the referee, you can't afford to have referees that are afraid to make decisions, in this test series. Otherwise, it's going to be like that series against New Zealand, where, quite honestly, let's be honest, New Zealand should have had the opportunity to win it in that last test, but they didn't. So we don't want that. I think our focus should be to keep the referees out of this game, in the series.
I mean, if you look, first try, Rabs, Reece Zammit got over for that, and Rabs could have possibly done better. I think he had an up and down game. He did get over for his own try, but I think he had not his best considering what we saw last week. Second try, Lions just couldn't stop that go forward ball. I mean, after that they got it going. They did build some 22 pressure, but international defense is not the same as Currie Cup defense.
True, it's not the same, but I also feel like the Sigma Lions, I think they were playing within themselves. They weren't fully expressing themselves, and maybe it's that thing, like the mental thing of knowing that, oh Jesus, the international side, and playing more safe than a lot, just expressing themselves. Because you saw even with the running lines, we weren't seeing those. We weren't seeing the DNA of the Sigma Lions.
I think the only time we did see that, we did see that is with Horn, who has taken that step up. The questionable captain, he took it blindside, and support for it's questionable. Support from Odendal, and rightly so. Chituka got his reward. He ended up on the end of it when they went wide. But I think moments like that, he showed the occasion didn't get to him, and that's when we started seeing guys taking the game by the neck. So they did. They had their moments.
Yeah, and even Birger Odendal, you mentioned Birger Odendal. I think he showed his quality, and you can see why he was captain at the Bulls. You can just see it. Like without him, I think it could have been a cricket score. I feel, because their backline just seemed they were a bit in disarray. They weren't as confident as what they usually are, and defensively, they were just getting sliced.
Defensively, the only thing that I have against Odendal is that line out where just him and Raz, the whole backline just didn't set, and they basically walked through.
Yeah, that was disappointing to see, But look, yes, we understand the occasion, we understand the test side, but at the same time, at the end of the day, these guys, you are professional just like these guys, so you can't let the occasion get to you. And hopefully going forward, we'll see something serious from one of our guys. Hopefully tomorrow is the Sharks' day, but like I said, we just need a credible performance. I'm putting all the pressure on the Bulls. Or even Western Province, because they're good at playing boring rugby and winning games, so maybe they'll do it.
Maybe they'll do it. If you can just talk the rest of the things that happened in this game, again, Horn and Odendal linking up, something going on there. Maybe it's a captain, ex-captain thing there with that little switch. Rabs got over there. Sangweni with his break.
Yeah.
Surely he should have given it a goose. Maybe he would have gotten over.
But as well, like I was also wondering where the wingers, like I think it shows the mindset where I think these guys were just so defensive orientated for this game that even when Sangweni made that break, they couldn't react quick enough to provide the support, which is disappointing. But it was good to see, man.
Talking about where were the wingers, did you see the try where Ulengo was basically down and then Josh Adams was having his way on that side. Ulengo, I mean, you talk about box in this game. Ulengo, I don't think you can count him as a box. He was making up numbers.
Yeah, Ulengo, I'm frustrated with him because he's got all the qualities. He's a big man. He's got the pace. It's just, I don't know, maybe the confidence is not there. We haven't seen him at his full potential. I think he himself would probably admit as well that he hasn't been operating at his full potential, because when he's playing well, physicality he's got, he's got good feet, he's got the pace, he can finish, he can contest for the high ball. He's got all the things that all the factors that you need to be successful, and he's just hasn't put it together as yet. So I feel for him, but I expect him to be better.
The only thing that I'll give him is I don't think he's match fit. I don't think he's okay. It's hard. It's hard, and it's not a nice thing to come on here and say, okay, this guy. But in his defense, I don't think he's had enough game time, and I think the Lions were first, squeezed for players. They're just trying to get guys back on the field.
Yeah, true. Look, I can understand that, and I can take that. And I look by no means am I bashing the guy, or by no means.
No, by all means I was bashing him earlier on.
But I'm just saying that there's no malice. There's no malice when you expect a certain standard from players that have previously showed the potential to reach that level. So it's a matter of, come on, well, what's the problem here? And admittedly, like you said, maybe game time could be a factor. If it is, we hope that he becomes better, and puts in better performances as the Currie Cup goes on, because geez, there's too much talent in this country, and if you sleep on yourself, there's a young kid waiting there. He's going to take your position. That's a reality.
There's Currie Abrams waiting. He's waiting.
There is. So guys got to pull up their socks, all of them.
Yeah. Any closing remarks before your boys take on British National?
No closing remarks. All I can say is, look, the Sharks just got to put in a credible performance. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game, just to see how it's going to go. I want to see. I think it's a test for all of those guys, especially guys that I think out of the Sharks, there's a lot of guys that, that have shown a lot of potential. So maybe we'll see. We'll see, get a surprise result, and then Western Province Griquas. I'm hoping Griquas really, put them away. So
hopefully Banda and the boys are back.
Banda and the boy, I fear that it may not be an open game because look, Province, they're going to stay in the fight. We already seen that. So, maybe Banda should just be on the bench for this game.
Yeah, for me, Sharks game, excited to see Sam Simmons. I think Sam Simmons is starting, and I liked his cameo in this game. Quick feet, eighth man. I think he's very entertaining from that side. So I'm keen to see his battle against Pepsi. Takir Abrams, keen to see him maybe take on his form from last week, get it going again. And it's just another week filled with rugby.
Yeah, another week filled with rugby. So look, excited. Let's see what happens. We backing our boys all the way. Especially against the British. Although I'm excited to see Duan van der Merwe as well. But he must just be contained. They must contain him. That's all that I'm hoping for.
Yeah, hopefully they contain him. And that's it from us this week. Dummy Switch Pod out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.